Hey racing fans, it's your boy TK and welcome back to Pitch, Pit and Punch. Today we're going to do a review on the 2025 Brazilian Grand Prix. And honestly speaking, it had it all. There was chaos, there were crashes, there was rain, and we all know whenever there's rain, there's a lot that goes down. And there was also comeback drivers, and one driver might just have wrapped up the title right here in São Paulo. But could Max Verstappen spoil the party for McLaren's dream of finishing 1-2 in the championship? Let's break it down from pre-race tension to the sprint drama and to the flawless drive from Lando Norris and Verstappen's amazing comeback. Let's go! Now, coming into Brazil, as we know, Lando Norris was leading the championship by 1 point. And with that slim lead, this was nothing but a juicy race because we had to see if Oscar Piastri would actually fight for that number 1 spot and how close Verstappen would come to actually spoiling the party. Now, for Verstappen, he wasn't too far off and the whole paddock was buzzing. Now, could McLaren actually go 1-2 in the driver's standings for the first time in years? Brazil was the perfect stage for drama, short laps, unpredictable weather, and passionate fans. You could feel the tension. And honestly speaking, with the build-up towards the sprint race, there was a lot to vie for. Now, when looking at the sprint race, we had Lando, who was flying, absolutely nailed it from pole. He honestly had the best weekend. This was a weekend that he loved completely. Super in control and ahead at all times. And one of the things that impressed me with him was that generally he doesn't start well even when he gets pole position. But this weekend his starts were bang on. And I've been telling a lot of people that if Lando can nail his starts, he will actually win majority of the races, especially with this McLaren vehicle. Now, with that being said, Saturday had a lot of wet curbs. There were red flags and a lot of madness. And Piastri pushed too hard in the sprint race. I mean, he went out really early where he was on a curb that was super wet and he spun off and went straight into the barrier. Now, that crash was in turn 3. And that changed everything for Piastri, where Norris, meanwhile, stayed cool, calm, and controlled. And that helped him a lot because when the restart happened, he took the sprint win, holding off Kimi Antonelli, who was actually, for me, one of the drivers of this weekend. Now, Kimi, honestly, is quickly becoming a problem for a lot of veterans. Yes, he is young, and he'll have a few mistakes. However, he's with the right team. As a youngster, you would want a team like Mercedes-Benz who've had the experience of actually winning championships, actually teaching you and cultivating your skills into the next champion. After that sprint, Norris stretched his lead to 9 points. Momentum definitely swung in his way. After the sprint drama, it was race day. The atmosphere was electric. Norris was on pole again. And lights out and away we go. He led every lap like a man possessed. Behind him was Kimi Antonelli, who was having the race of his life. P2 for Mercedes-Benz rookie. I mean, guys, honestly speaking, when you looked at the season, I was never sure if Kimi would get a podium finish, and man oh man did he not disappoint. Even in the restart he was right on top of Norris, but as the race went on, Norris completely dominated and had a massive 10-second gap. Then we have the driver of the weekend, that is Max Verstappen. Guys, there are only 3 drivers who've done what he's done. And this is the second time he has actually climbed up 16 positions. That is mind-boggling, guys. If there was honestly a man possessed, it was Verstappen, because the way he was passing people looked way too easy. Now, he started further down, but clawed his way back with classic Max Verstappen style. Elbows out, zero patience. Piastri fought back to 5th, but picked up a penalty after tangling with Antonelli. Not really a great look, but I do feel that this was a harsh penalty. The checkered flag dropped, let's really look at it. Norris P1, Antonelli with his first podium in P2, and Verstappen, guys, from 16th and actually starting in the pit, then climbing all the way up to P3. A statement weekend for a lot of drivers, specifically for Lando Norris. Now, when we look at the driver standings, things are becoming extremely exciting. There are 3 races left, and as it stands, we've got in number 1, Lando Norris with 390 points, and only 24 points away is Oscar Piastri. Then 25 points behind him is Max Verstappen. Do you guys understand how close they are from one another? For example, if Norris gets a DNF in the next race and Piastri wins it, Piastri goes first. Then, if Piastri gets a DNF in the next race or finishes out of the points pocket and Verstappen wins, Verstappen goes second. And if Norris was to go out and Verstappen or Piastri were to win, Verstappen would be ever too close to actually spoiling the party. Then, just looking at the post-race drama, a few quotes from the drivers where Norris after the race was all smiles, super happy, jubilant. He deserves it. He said it was the perfect weekend for him, and you can see why. I mean, sprint race win, qualifying for pole, and controlling from start to finish. Piastri, though, looked extremely frustrated. He knows that crash and penalty cost him big. He needs to get back into the winning mentality. Minimal mistakes from him. Any mistake could cost his position or give Norris the title. Verstappen, quiet but dangerous. Honestly speaking, the car wasn't behaving for him and he really struggled this weekend. But he's a fighter and he's just waiting for one bad McLaren weekend so that he can pounce and mess things up and put a lot more pressure on both the McLaren drivers. Mercedes also have to be feeling good. I mean, Antonelli proving he's not just hype, and Brazil might just have been the breakout moment for him in terms of boosting his confidence in understanding that, listen guys, I am the man for this job and I definitely am capable of finishing on the podium. That's it for our 2025 Brazil Grand Prix review, a weekend that might just define the championship. Now, our next stop is going to be the Las Vegas race on the 23rd of November, and trust me, the heat is only just beginning. You're watching Pitch, Pit and Punch, where we break down the big moments, punch in the hot takes, and pitch you the best Formula One action. See you in the next one.